Haley, and today I'm going to be doing a spoiler-free review for Walk on Earth a Stranger by Rae Carson. So this book is a YA fantasy or historical fiction because it takes place in the time of the gold rush, and it follows the main character Lee, and Lee has a special power that not many people know about. She is able to sense gold. Now obviously in the time of the gold rush that makes her very vulnerable because everyone is trying to find gold and make their fortune. So she is forced, because of a family tragedy, she is forced to flee west to California, and this story is all about her trying to find her way and trying to find safety and really trying to figure out what happened, because there's a whole mystery going on surrounding the tragedy that happened to her. The writing of this book, you could tell that the historical fiction aspect of it was really well thought out and really well researched, and I enjoyed reading about the time of the gold rush because that's a time that I've never read about, and I think that the vernacular that she used was really well done but not overdone. I did feel like I was in the West at the time of the gold rush, like the Wild West days. I felt like I was there, which I think was really where this book was very successful, and I loved the environment that it built up and the whole concept of it I just think was really great. But overall I don't think the writing really stood out to me. There wasn't anything that really set it apart from any other book. It was well written, but it wasn't really anything that really blew my mind. I did really enjoy the characters of this book. Lee, it's largely her story. It really is just about her, but it's about her trying to figure out what is going on, and I think that there were little quips in there because she's a woman who is disguising herself as a man in the time when women are like considered lesser, and you could see the little quips in there about like how terrible that was and how ridiculous it was, and I think that her disguising herself as a man I loved because it was very like Shakespearean, and you guys know that I love Shakespeare, so I felt like I was reading like a Shakespeare play because of that, and I just liked seeing her navigating as a woman disguised as a male, navigating a very male-centric universe, and I think that her interacting with them, you could see that like the difference between in the beginning when she's a woman, how they treat her, and then when she's disguised as a man later, you could see the difference in that and how many more privileges she had. But at the same time, she stayed true to herself the whole time, and I enjoyed seeing her trying to sort out and put together the puzzle pieces of this mystery because I think she was a really interesting character to read from the perspective of, and she was really my favorite character because she questioned things, and I think that she was right to question the things that she was questioning. She was a very intelligent and driven heroine. Now Lee's best friend Jefferson, I had a few issues with him. I honestly found him to be very sketchy, and I still am like, nah, like I don't know if I trust him. I don't know why, I just get vibes from him. But I did really enjoy the fact that he was a native character. He was a Native American character, and I think that, I mean, this is the time of like cowboys and Indians, which is like the big game. Now Lee's best friend Jefferson, he was a very interesting character. I really still don't know if I trust him. I had a hard time trusting him. I felt like there was just something that he wasn't being honest about, and he had secrets, and I still am like very meh on him. But the fact that he was named Jefferson, I kept on singing Hamilton in my head and I just couldn't help it, but that usually ends up happening. But other than that, I did like, I don't know, I still have mixed feelings about him. I did really enjoy though that he added diversity to the cast of characters because he was a Native American character, and this was a time when people were really fearful of like Native Americans are coming, and they're like, they had really skewed conceptions of them. They had a lot of misconceptions about Native Americans, and I think seeing him as a character who was half Cherokee, I can't say that at all, half Native American character, I think it was really interesting in that time period, and I really enjoyed that Rae Carson took the opportunity to kind of educate you about that time period and how terrible it was for Native Americans. Now I'm moving the other characters into plot because they are largely part of the plot and kind of a plot device. Now there are other constant characters that she meets along the way, and I think seeing such an erratic cast of characters that she meets on her journey was very interesting, and I loved the fact that this story was about her journey, and it was not only a physical journey to California, but it was kind of a journey of overcoming this terrible thing that has just happened to her and trying to put together the pieces from that. It's a mystery story largely because this terrible thing has happened and she's really trying to figure out what happened and how she can move on from it and how she can like bring justice to her, like to the people that the tragedy has affected. And I think that seeing her as a really strong, powerful female character seeking out justice and going on this journey that is terrible across the country and overcoming so many adversities and like disguising herself just for her own safety, it was very interesting. And like I said, I love the time period. I think that the world was built up really well in this story. I do wish that there had been a little bit more about like why she could sense gold, because I felt like I didn't really understand that, and I just wish that the world had been built up a little bit better in that way. But I did think it was a very interesting concept to have a character who can sense gold in the time of the gold rush. Like that definitely leaves her very, very vulnerable, and you could see that, but you could also see how although she was like fearing for her safety, she still was very resilient, and it was a very nice heroine to read from. So overall, I ended up giving this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I honestly don't think I'm going to continue with the trilogy. And it's not because I disliked this book, because I did really, really enjoy this book. I was pleasantly surprised by it because I was a little bit apprehensive going into it. But I just feel like I liked the ending of this book, and I don't think that I need more. I don't know, I might end up continuing with it. If you guys have read this book and you have read the next one, Like a River Glorious, then let me know, because I may change my opinion on that and I may end up continuing. Let me know if it's worth it. I don't know. But yeah, let me know if you have read this book, your thoughts on it. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!